Today, we're going back in time to the ancient world of the Roman Empire, which was a place where the value placed on human life was frequently exorbitantly high. We are going to delve into the fascinating histories of some of the most valuable and sought-after slaves throughout that time period. Their stories, which range from those of gladiators to those of instructors, are both compelling and illuminating. We hope you enjoy your time here at the most expensive slaves of the Roman Empire. Let's just jump right in, shall we? First things first, before we go into the lives of these incredible people, let's establish the context. Slaves served the Roman Empire in a variety of capacities, including those relating to manual work, entertainment, and even education. Slavery was an essential component of the Roman Empire. Slavery was an institutionalized practice that played a significant role in the Roman economy and society. Slavery was not simply a matter of owning property, rather, it was a complex social, economic, and moral issue that affected the very fabric of Roman life. Slavery was a legal institution in Roman society. Gladiators were without a doubt at the top of the list when it came to being the most expensive slaves that the Roman Empire owned. These talented warriors were much sought after, not just for their prowess in battle, but also for the charisma and showmanship they displayed while competing in the arena. The most prominent gladiators were able to command exorbitant rates for their services. Spartacus, a famous gladiator whose exploits are the stuff of mythology, is a good example. He was a Thracian soldier in his earlier life, but he was sold into slavery and trained to become a gladiator instead. After leading a slave insurrection against Rome, his worth rose for obvious reasons. Spartacus came to represent defiance and independence, and the price that would have been asked for him if he had been put up for sale is incomprehensible. Gladiators such as Spartacus were not merely forced laborers. Rather, they were famous figures of their era who captivated audiences while fighting for their freedom in the arena. Gladiators are without a doubt going to take the spotlight when we discuss the most expensive slaves that the Roman Empire had to offer. The value that was placed on gladiators significantly exceeded the amount that it took to acquire them. They were, in many respects, the equivalent of rock stars in ancient Rome, having the ability to captivate the hearts and minds of both the common people and the elites. Gladiatorial fighting was not merely a kind of entertainment in ancient Rome. Rather, it was an obsession with the people who lived there. People from all walks of life would congregate in the large stadiums, such as the Colosseum, to see these bloody but exciting competitions. The gladiators were the main attractions at these shows, and the fights they participated in were the pinnacle of Roman social life. In order to become effective fighters, gladiators were put through strenuous training regimens that frequently lasted for years. They were refined into skilled warriors who were proficient in a variety of fighting methods, weaponry, and strategies during their training. Their physical power and fighting skills were unmatched by any other group. Gladiators that were successful were frequently able to build their own personal identities and fan bases. They were memorable to the audience thanks to their unique names, fighting techniques, and moves that were associated with them. Fans would cheer on their favorite gladiators with all their might, and those who performed well would go on to become household names. The life of a gladiator was fraught with great peril and danger. They were exposed to the extremely high risk of dying in the arena, and a significant number of them did not make it through their first few bouts. However, the benefits that were offered to individuals who performed exceptionally well were just as great. Gladiators who emerged victorious had the opportunity to amass fortune, gain fame, and perhaps earn their freedom. Gladiators were important figures in both culture and politics in addition to being entertaining performers. They frequently used as a metaphor for concepts of valor, honor, and tenacity. Their conflicts were often exploited to send political signals or to assuage the dissatisfaction of the populace when it was necessary to do so. Gladiators had enormous economic worth in addition to the adulation they received from the audience. Gladiators that performed well may be purchased by wealthy individuals who would make money off of their triumphs as well as their appearance fees. The greater the gladiators' record of victories, the higher their market worth will be. Unbelievably, some gladiators were able to buy their freedom with the victories they achieved. Because of the temptation of fame and money, these freedmen, who were known as auctorati, frequently choose to continue competing in the arena. The tales they told about escaping enslavement and ascending to glory became part of Roman folklore. During the time of the Roman Empire, knowledge was considered extremely valuable, and educated slaves were among the most sought after and expensive. In Roman society, those who held the roles of teacher, scribe, and scholar occupied a distinct position in the social hierarchy. Take, for example, the life of Menander, who was a respected Greek philosopher and educator. He was a slave when he arrived in Rome, but he rose quickly through the ranks to become a famous instructor for Roman nobility. Because of his immense knowledge and eloquence, he was eventually granted his freedom and became a respected figure in Roman intellectual circles. His eloquence and vast knowledge were so highly admired. The significance of educated slaves rested not only in their skill to instruct, but also in their ability to serve as a link between Roman nobility and the intellectual relics of the ancient world. This was the primary reason for the value placed on educated slaves. Craftsmen of exceptional talent were essential to the grandeur that was characteristic of the Roman Empire, which was famous for its architectural marvels and meticulous craftsmanship. The capacity to create works of art as well as engineering wonders was highly esteemed. Therefore, master builders, sculptors, and craftsmen were greatly sought after. Phidias, a well-known Greek sculptor, was one of these people. He was responsible for creating the enormous statue of Zeus at Olympia, which is considered to be one of the 7 wonders of the ancient world. Phidias was an artist who was not only an expert in his field, but also a pioneer in the field. Because of the high demand for his skills, he was sold into slavery and sent to Rome, where he was put to work producing some of the most stunning sculptures the world had ever seen. The contribution that highly talented artisans such as Phidias made to the enduring legacy of Roman art and architecture added another dimension to the value of their work beyond their inherent capacity to create things of aesthetic value. The Roman Empire was a big and complex machine that required effective administration and governance in order to function properly. Slaves had crucial roles in these duties, functioning as secretaries, accountants, and advisors to the most prominent individuals in Rome. These functions were carried out under the Roman Empire. Epaphroditus, a slave who rose to prominence as the secretary and advisor to Emperor Nero, is a particularly noteworthy example of this phenomenon. Because his influence was so considerable, he was able to play a significant part in determining Nero's policies and choices. Epaphroditus is a prime example of how certain slaves were able to attain positions of tremendous authority behind the scenes. Not only were these slaves indispensable to the operation of the empire, but they also played a significant role in determining its course of history. The lives of these slaves were anything but straightforward, despite the fact that they possessed impressive positions and beliefs. They frequently struggled with the apparent contradiction of having high value while also being subject to inherent oppression. Their experiences shed light on the difficulties of a society whose foundation is built on the exploitation of people. Some of them, like Spartacus, revolted against the very underpinnings of Roman civilization and fought for their independence in the process. The others, such as Menander, were successful in climbing the ranks to higher ranking, more influential positions within the system. But regardless of how their individual lives turned out, each and every one of them contributed something to the complex web that was Roman history. The tales of the Roman Empire's most valuable slaves serve to remind us of the enduring legacy that humans have left behind in terms of their tenacity, ability, and desire to be free. They force us to ponder the moral intricacies of history, as well as the lasting impact that the past has had on our present day. As we learn more about the extraordinary lives of these people, we are drawn into the world of the Roman Empire. In that time and place, the worth of a person's life was determined by their abilities, their connections, and their level of power. There is a universe in which the stories of human beings, despite the passing of ages, continue to captivate the minds of those who inhabit there. And with that, a brief look at the existence of some of the most highly valued slaves in the Roman Empire is shown to you. If you found these tales to be as interesting as we did, then make sure to click the like button and subscribe to our channel to receive other fascinating investigations into the past. Our mission is to rummage through the archives of history in search of lost treasures and untold tales. Be sure to keep your interest in the past alive and your passion for learning at a high level till we meet again. We appreciate you taking the time to be here with us today. We'll see you in the future video.